Hey, good morning, church. So grateful to be able to come and spend a couple minutes with you this morning talking about 1 Samuel chapter 9. In this chapter, we get to see God fulfilling his promise to give the children of Israel what they'd asked for. Even though they rejected him, he still provides them with a king. And while Saul's story doesn't go the way that a lot of times we would want the story to go because of the failures in his life and the wickedness in his heart, his origin is really cool. To see how God picks him out and he tells Samuel clearly that he is the one who's going to represent the children of Israel. To see Saul's humility and how he is chosen, even though he's head and shoulders taller than everybody around him and he's the best looking dude in the whole nation of Israel, he's still incredibly humble. And I love the way that Samuel introduces himself and the will of God to Saul. He tells him that those donkeys that you're worried about, Saul never mentions the donkeys to Samuel. He never said anything about it. He literally asked one question: "Can you tell me where the house of the seer, the prophet, is?" And Samuel responds, "I am he. I'm the seer. I'm the prophet. You're going to come over here. You're going to eat with me. I'm going to tell you everything that's on your mind. And don't worry about those donkeys that you've been looking for 3 days, because they've been found." It's an incredible moment, because it shows Saul that he has specifically been chosen and ordained. But what's also really important about this chapter, and the reason why I want to point this out, is because of the time and the culture that we live in. If Saul would have kept that same humble heart, I think Saul would have been a great king. I think the whole situation with David would have gone down the way that it was supposed to go down. David was always going to be anointed as king. It was never going to be Saul's house that stayed in the throne. It was going to be David. But David hadn't been born yet. David wasn't ready to be king. And God wasn't going to pick Jesse to be king. So he had to pick Saul. And if you look at the way that Jonathan and David's relationship was, I don't think Jonathan would have fought David one moment for that throne. I think he would have humbly laid it down. Jonathan has the same heart that his dad did when he was a young man. But somewhere along the way, Saul begins to think that power, that seat is his. We have to remember, we are called to represent God perfectly. Now, I know we can't be perfect, but that doesn't give us the excuse not to try, to the very best of our ability, to be holy and righteous just as Jesus was, and to plead on behalf of everyone around us and ourselves for the Holy Spirit to give us the best opportunities and give us the power and the strength to walk in the life that we're called to walk in, to be in the world but not of the world, to be free from sin. I pray that as you guys read this chapter and you're introduced to Saul, and if you have the blessed privilege of knowing the history that comes along with his kingdom and his reign, that you will start to consider, how far did he fall to lose that humility and that perspective? And I pray you'll spend some time with God thinking about your own way of representing Christ. Do you keep that humility and that perspective? Do you continue to point the finger toward heaven instead of the finger at yourself or at others? I pray that you would be blessed today, and I pray that you would enjoy how God opens up the eyes of a young man from the tribe of Benjamin. God bless.